What is a wise way in which you think the government money can be used to address this issue?
Yeah. Well, I think, look, we have to recognize that the digital divide really is composed of two different problems. So one problem is access. And this has been the historical narrative about the digital divide. We need to make sure, we need to build infrastructure into rural America where they don't have access to the internet. And that's true, and we need to spend money on that. But if you look at the 29 million households that don't have internet access, 2/3 of them don't have access, not because they don't have internet, not because there isn't internet available to them, but because they can't afford it. So 20 million of our 29 million households, representing over almost 80 million people, don't have internet access because they can't afford it. And so the second thing the government needs to do is they need to create programs that will help make free broadband available to those folks. And that can be done in a variety of ways. You know, one thing that they've already done is they've created something called the Emergency Broadband benefit, which was providing a subsidy to people to help them pay for their internet bills. And that's a great solution. But I think that there are actually other really clever solutions that we should be investing in as well, which is, if you think about it, if you go to an airport, there's free Wi-Fi available. So why can't we bring free Wi-Fi to the places that people live by building different kinds of infrastructure, namely putting Wi-Fi networks in places like apartment buildings, low-income apartment buildings where people struggle to afford it?
Absolutely. I think all the things you're describing, technology is reaching a point where the price, performance, and affordability is converging pretty well, because you also have the right reliability, the right performance, and the latest advances now give that performance. So I think there's a convergence of many factors which will bring this connectivity to those households.
Well, that's right. And you know, we've been doing some pilots in low-income apartment buildings where we've deployed Wi-Fi networks throughout the buildings. And historically, when people have thought about bringing internet into an apartment building, you know, they think about putting a wire into every unit and then putting in a Wi-Fi access point in the unit. Well, that's really expensive. You know, on average, it costs about $1,500 a unit to be able to deploy that way. Well, because the technology has improved so much, what we're finding is you don't have to do that anymore. You can just strategically place Wi-Fi access points down the hallways of buildings, and it works great. The technology is good enough now that it penetrates those walls. People can get high-speed connections in their apartments. And instead of it costing $1,500, the cost drops to something like $200 or $250 a unit. So it's a dramatic change, and people need to start rethinking about things in this way.